Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now listening to That Infernal Noise podcast, part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Fuck yeah. Hi, everyone. We're back. It wasn't 3 weeks this time. It was just a normal.
It's a week and a day from when we last record. Wait, did we record on? We recorded on a Saturday last time. Yeah, because I got up Sunday. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. And we're back, and we're not, we could just have a normal conversation this time. I mean, it's not going to be a normal conversation. It's never a normal
That's
conversation.
That's why I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But I mean, there's no, we don't have to update people on, all the bullshit that's been going on. It's just been life, and not the life of what's next.
I mean, it is a little bit of that.
But I think that's more anxiety and stuff like that of oh my God. Because I'm just glad that we had a normal fucking week. That's all.
Sort of. For the most part. Like Friday morning and then...
Oh, that... Okay.
Or was it... Was it Friday? Or was it Saturday?
Wasn't there something Friday morning? I don't know. Okay, well, we've been having trouble sleeping lately. Well, not even necessarily going to sleep. It's more so staying asleep.
Well, it's not even staying asleep, because I can go to sleep and stay asleep, and I'll wake up, and usually I'm able to go back to sleep pretty quick, and so are you.
Yeah, but okay. So outside of I guess it's just residual feelings of anxiety or trepidation or whatever the case is of all the bullshit that's been happening for the past, let's see, it's now October, so
40 years?
Well, that too, but more specifically, we've had just a lot of bullshit in the past, like I said, October, so last 6 months. It's just been so much. And it's just been bullshit. And it's,
It's like my resting heart rate increased by 7 points in general. And there was I thought I was doing better. I wasn't really tripping on anything, nothing like that, but the residual shit caught up to my body. Mm-hmm. And it threw me all out of whack, which of course makes me worry about other shit. And just...
Yeah, because your head automatically goes to a medical place of what does this mean for me? And that's reasonable and understandable.
And then as soon as it peaked at 70, which of course I went back and looked and see where my highs and shit were.
Of course.
And the last one was around Mom's birthday. I think it was if I'm not mistaken, it was the week before Mom's birthday.
Wow.
And it hit 70 then too. And then it immediately started falling back down.
It did.
What happened this past time too. It hit 70 the same day. It came down to 69, and now I think I'm at 66. So I'm closer to where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, 66.
And me, I'm
You don't keep up with all that shit.
I can't, because I become obsessive about it.
And I do too, to a certain extent, but I know that for my peace of mind, I'm going to freak out more
with you having it off than on. And I'm the exact opposite. If I have something to look at, I'm going to will myself
and you
to
saw
see that it goes
you saw
down
me.
or go up.
I 100% did that initially, and you made me take it off and deal with it for what was it, a week or something, and then I got back to where I was like, okay, I'm not going to obsess over it.
That was right after Mom passed,
yeah.
Though, so it was very touch and go if you were going to listen to me or take my advice.
But see, I told you that initially. The moment we found out, well, the day, it wasn't the moment, because it was after we were handling everything and then came back home. Like, I'm going to need you. You are going to have to tell me what I need to do, because I know I'm not going to be here for God knows how long. was like, I'm going to need you to help me with all of this.
Yeah.
Like if I'm stepping out of line, if I'm being too obsessive, whatever the fuck. And I knew that was coming, because I know me and how death affects me.
Yeah.
And to your credit, you did, and I didn't really fight you on any of that shit. It's like if you said, hey, you should probably... Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And that's...
And I think all of that residual shit is finally catching up to us physically. Because it's fucking with my sleep the way it did initially whenever she passed.
Yeah. And now, mine isn't, and it's so weird that this is the thing that it's changed into, because it's not falling asleep.
Which was the thing you had a problem with before.
Yeah, because I have lots of nighttime trauma. For anyone who knows, you know. And so I don't feel safe, and that's why I have trouble sleeping on my back. Because my body's exposed. That's gone away.
For the but you are not comfortable sleeping on your back. You're comfortable sleeping on your stomach more so anyway. So.
And I used to be a side sleeper because I would curl up. But so
that's still the most comfortable way for me to sleep.
It hurts my shoulders and my hips now.
It depends for me.
That's
like
fair.
Sometimes but whenever you get out of bed in the morning and I go back to sleep for 30 minutes. That's how I have to sleep. Yeah. And it ends up alleviating all the pressure, even though it caused it. But I'm also like side sleeping and I can't curl up because you're right up on me.
You will.
It used to bother me. Now it's just like, I'll deal with it. I'll have a twinge in my fucking shoulder for a little bit and then it'll work out. It's fine. I don't care.
I don't do it consciously. I do it in my sleep. So I find you in my sleep.
That's not true. You do it consciously, too. Because whenever you're getting comfortable, you start scooting your way over. And you don't even realize how far
it's still
over you are.
subconsciously, though.
But you're still awake, is my point.
Oh. Yeah, but really encroaching on your space happens in my sleep. But yeah, I don't have the problems that I used to going to sleep now. And it's not even necessarily staying asleep. It's when my brain starts to kind of wake up in the morning. It takes that little bit of, is it time? And runs. And I hate it. And it's been coupled with a lot of anxiety. A lot of anxiety. And
I'll talk about what happened the other day.
Okay, so with everything that's been going on with Kaylee in the past couple weeks, and like I said, there's just been a lot going on, especially in the past 6 months. It's just, it's taken an emotional and mental toll on me and there's been some slight regression when it comes to my thought processes on how I want to handle certain situations, because there have been certain situations, and I know you know which ones I'm talking about,
where I talking about the shit today,
where I have wanted to revert back, like, you bitches don't fucking know
the petty Betty bullshit.
Yes, and my therapist in some situations where it's like, that's not petty. But it is. This would have been.
But it doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to solve anything. It's not going to make you feel better. It's going to make you feel worse.
Yeah.
Like, short term, you're going to get that rush of dopamine.
Yeah.
But afterwards, you're going to be questioning whatever the fuck. And it's just
who I am as a human being.
Yeah. And I don't want you to go down that route because you've made so much progress in that aspect. I don't want you to feel like you're reverting.
And that's fair. But hear me out. Slight. I'm not going to do anything crazy. Hear me out. I've always had to be the level-headed one for the vast majority of my life. My therapist has said I have been 45 since I've been 3 years old, and I've always
Which is funny because that's essentially what we've always said about Kaylee.
Yeah. And it's like, okay.
But she didn't have to. That was just
she just had an older soul. Yeah. She wanted to watch like Murder, She Wrote and shit like that. I had to be an adult at a child. And I think that's another thing. I think that's what... That's why it's so hard for me to let those things go. Because yes, I have done petty things in my life. We all have. We've all... at some point taken the lower road, which who calls it the high road and the low road anyway? Sometimes people need the low roads anyway. Anyway.
Sometimes the low road's the path of least resistance.
I'm telling you. But I think that's why I have such... Because I do just want to let these things go. I do want to just go on living my life. But there's that sense of injustice that I've had my entire life because of how I was raised. And because I had to be 45 at the age of 3. And just talking about it now is like, that's why. I think that's why I have such a hard time just... Because it's easy to say, just let it go. Just let it go. You know that XYZ or that group of people or that person or that situation, they're not going to change. It's not going to change. Whatever the case is. And it's so easy to say, yeah, just let it go. Just keep living your life, blah, 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 blah. But that strong sense of injustice and the fact that I've had to take the high road and be the mature one and be this and be that for so fucking long. I'm 38 years old. And I've had to do this the vast majority of my life. And not even just because of other people, because of my mother. It's like, what do I do? I didn't get a rebellious streak. I didn't do those petty teenager things. Nothing like that. And I just realized that now. That's why it's so hard for me right now as an adult to let that shit go. Because I want to burn the world down in those moments. Because fuck you. You're in the wrong and I know you're in the wrong. And how dare you try to make it look otherwise? How fucking dare you? I thank you for telling me to talk about Friday then, because I just realized that. So I will work on that continuously to try to just let those things go. But going back to Friday, sorry, that was a weird revelation. Yay, thank you guys for being present for that. I do need to find different ways to soothe my inner teenager that's pissed off.
Yeah, because that's the one. It's not the kid.
It's my inner teenager
that wants to fucking go at everybody's throat.
Mm-hmm. Because I want to hurt people's feelings with the truth, not with I want to just lash out to lash out. I want to say the truth to you until it makes sense to you.
But see, you're assuming that logic will be seen in certain situations,
and it won't.
You and I have come across way too many people in the course of our lives where the more logic you presented them with, the more steadfast they were, and fuck you. And what is that going to solve?
It's not. And
there are so many situations where that is applicable.
Because I have... what pisses me off the most is like, especially when you have something to point to. I have evidence. I have proof. I have receipts, bitches. Like, are you fucking serious? And that feeling of, do you know, and this is not, I don't want to destroy people. I don't. Even to my own mother who destroyed me. I don't want to destroy her. I don't. I want her to fucking acknowledge and accept the shit she did. Instead of, well, maybe I just shouldn't have had kids. Bitch, I'm 30. At the time, I was 35. A little late for that shit. That's a way to resolve the situation.
Well, now you don't have your eldest kid, so kudos, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Welcome to your life.
You got your wish.
You don't have kids, or you lost one. Cool. But I think that's another strong point of where it's like, when I have receipts, because you know me, I usually don't come off crazy unless I have receipts. I'm not gonna, for the vast majority of the time.
Outside of our relationship, yes. Because there has been times where you flipped out about shit and it's just like, no.
That is not the case.
That's your insecurity. Yes. That's your brain fucking with you. Calm down.
Yes. And I try
and I know it's rich me saying that, but...
And I try to keep those few and far between. I try to keep everything in check as much as I can. Excuse me. But when I have receipts, Because I've seen things where it's like, if I'm asking you a question, if I'm asking
I'm
you...
giving you an opportunity to tell me the truth because I already know.
The way I was raised, you don't ask questions without the answer to it. You don't come to someone and say, hey, where were you last Friday? If you don't know where the motherfucker was last Friday. You don't do that. That's just not how you do things. That's not how I was raised. But
because you're giving them an opportunity to lie to you.
Yeah, I'm giving you an opportunity. I'm going to ask you a question. Are you going to be honest with me? I prefer transparency over honesty.
Like, hey, I saw da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. I prefer transparency over honesty.
The other shit's passive-aggressive. Like a motherfucker.
It is.
Because you're trying to trap somebody, essentially.
But...
And I know that because I did that.
But on the other hand, if you were to go up to somebody and say, hey, I know you saw so-and-so and you did such and such on Friday and you didn't tell me about it. Why was that? Then it's the immediate... How do you know that?
And if that's your... And me as a 40-year-old person, if that's your response, cool. Fucking whatever. Done. Like... You're fucking toxic and insane. I don't want to deal with this shit.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. Little side note. If you call yourself psycho and then don't get to be called toxic, you need to fix something. By the way, if you're allowed to say, I'm crazy, I'm psycho, I'm toxic, I'm this, I'm that, and then someone else who has a legitimate thing says you're crazy, psycho, toxic, whatever, you can't be like, how can you use that word? No. Take a step back, take a long look at it. Just throwing that out there. But
we don't like to be confronted with our own shit.
No.
It's like the kids. They can fight with each other, but if somebody else fucks with them, it's
that's my brother
you.
Or sister.
You don't say that. It's the same principle. Yeah. Both are idiotic. Just for the record. I understand that siblings do that, but I've always hated that shit.
Same.
Like, just fucking love each other. Like, yes, y'all are going to fight, but it doesn't have to be that serious.
Yes. But with all that being said, and me actually trying to be the bigger person, the taking the high road, I hate all of those adages. I hate that verbiage.
It sounds so fucking uppity in the first place.
Yeah, because it has an air of superiority to it, and that's not who I am. I'm just trying to fucking live my life with as much.
And people already
peace.
Think we have that mentality anyway.
Oh hell yeah! Oh fuck yes.
Like,
you think that you're so
I'm not getting into that shit again.
It is what it is. But with all that being said, being who I am comes with a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-analysis, a lot of, am I doing things right? Maybe I should try a different attempt. Do I need to try a different attempt? Was I out of line in this way? It's a lot. And with Kaylee's, trip to the hospital, and then her in college, and then luckily I got to spend some time with Chris because unfortunately he had
life happened.
Yeah, it was stuff with his car and stuff, yeah. But I got to spend some one-on-one time with him, which I haven't had to do, or I haven't been able to do in like
2 years,
4, when I was teaching him how to drive.
Oh, you mean like real? Okay, I see what
wow, sorry.
20 minutes in.
Sorry, I didn't realize that. But I haven't. So Friday morning, I woke up with a lot of anxiety about who I am as a mom. And me saying I haven't spent one-on-one time with my adult son didn't help that in 4 years. Sorry. So as someone who didn't have a mom when I was pregnant, for someone who didn't have a dad when I was pregnant, for someone who I didn't have anyone to turn to when I was pregnant, even not, oh, I just realized how close I was. Not even just when I was pregnant, because obviously I didn't give birth to Chris, Kaylee, and Noe. But I had no one to turn to ask questions. This has been a really DIY motherhood for me. I have a bunch of examples of what I don't want to do. Who I don't want to be. And, because our life is what it is, and the state of America, I mean, even on that global scale of how hard it is to make doctor's appointments or get the help we need, or financially, just as a country, as there's just a lot going on in my head. And then when it comes down specifically to our household, to what I do as a mother, to how I handle my kids, how I have handled my kids, I haven't always been proud of who I am, especially as a mom.
Even though that's where you've fallen short the least.
I woke up with a lot of anxiety. Because my adult daughter didn't ask me for food. And I didn't think to ask her if she needed food. That was what started it. Kaylee's at UNT, and she does not have the weekend, the 7-day-a-week meal plan, but she does have her own mini fridge, and we do get her groceries, and we had to go out there on Friday night
to drop off some diabetic supplies.
To drop off another meter, but then I had the previous night, I had the thought of, does she need anything else? And I was trying to get everything in order. But then I was also thinking about things that I need, or I haven't historically gotten done for my kids. Dentist appointments, or, things like that. And it just all kind of just sat on my chest Friday morning. And I have no one to call. I don't have another mom to talk to. But I am so grateful that I have you as my husband and my partner, because you are a partner. And I know that people are like, why do you call your husband partner? Because he's my fucking this is a team effort. And you and I haven't always worked the best as a team. Even.
We came together whenever we needed to,
Fair.
even at our most fucked up.
That's fair.
Like, shit got handled the way it needed to get handled. But I get what you're saying.
So I'm so very grateful that I have you and who you are now and all the work that you've done. And I tell you that every night. I say that I'm grateful that we have done and will continue to do the work every single night because of stuff like this. Getting to talk to my son and hear his plans for the future and who he has become and what he wants to do for the future mother of his child and things like that. It's beautiful. And I'm so glad that
the boy's always had a good heart on him.
He really has.
And I am very proud of him for that. And that has nothing to do with me. That's all. That's
it's
him.
It's
That's
his
him.
heart.
It's his choices that he's making.
Yeah.
And sidebar, that the shit that he's been doing occasionally, where he'll text me what I used to say to them dropping them off at school. Like the first day I fucking cried.
Yeah.
Because it's just, he's taking the time out of his day to say that.
Yeah.
And he's not the disingenuous type. He's not the one that would do some shit just to make somebody feel better. He's doing it because he wants to do it.
Yeah.
And that shit just, it got me. It fucking got me.
So unfortunately, I had to wake you up.
No, you didn't. I woke up. I heard you in the bathroom, and I wake up whenever you get up to go to the bathroom, but I could tell something was off, so I was just like, what the fuck? So I waited for you to come back out.
And you asked if I was okay because I had already been awake since like 5
See,
a.m.
I didn't know of all that.
Yeah, I had already been awake since like 5. And I was just laying there. And I'm, you know, because we all have to emotionally regulate ourselves. We're, you know, this is our emotions are our own. No one else is in charge of making us happy, sad, whatever. We need to regulate ourselves. And I'm sitting there and I'm doing the check-ins with myself. Hey, what do I need right now? Why am I feeling this way? What's going on? What triggered this? You know, it's okay that we haven't always been perfect. It's okay that we make mistakes now. It's okay that we're feeling this way. It's okay that we're awake. It's okay that we're feeling insecure. But, you know, we can also, and I do these in personal check-ins where it's like, or conversations where it's like, okay, yes, it's okay that we're doing this now, but we can panic about this later because there's literally nothing we can do about it right now. And it has worked where it's like my brain says, oh, you're absolutely right. And I'm able to go back to sleep. And this just wasn't one of those days. So I got up, I got dressed in my comfy clothes, you know, nothing. I wasn't like getting ready for my day.
Or anything.
Yeah, I wasn't like, I didn't like get ready for the day, but I did get not my pajamas on. And I walked out of the door and you were like, oh, you okay? And I just couldn't.
You broke down immediately. And I say that with all the love. Like, I'm glad you did. Because I think you are waiting. You're waiting for people to care a lot of the time. Because you think a lot of people don't.
Not okay. Yes and no.
Sort of.
Let me make a small correction. Not that people don't care. It's just that my life and the way I viewed, I just don't think
You don't think you're important enough?
Yeah. I think, yeah.
How's that any different?
Oh, well.
I think that's semantics, but that's my opinion.
Because I don't want to put my shit on other people. Like, I don't want to think that other people don't.
You let me penetrate you on a regular basis. I'm just saying. And, like, I hate to be that crude about it, but if you're allowing that, you know what I mean? Like, you sharing your feelings shouldn't be...
See, but the thing is that I have a very traumatic...
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying from an outside logic perspective, it should be easier to share your feelings as a person than it should be to share your body with somebody.
You would think. You would fucking think, right? Yeah, but when you're...
That just shows you how fucked up our generation is.
When you're trauma-filled, it's the exact opposite. Yay. But yeah,
you came out,
and I'm very thankful that you, because I do struggle with opening up. I do struggle with.
Oh, I know.
Being a burden, or feeling, not being. Let me correct myself.
I'm about to say because the few times that I have felt burdened was because I had so much other shit on my plate and I told you, hey, I can't fucking deal with this right now. Like, I am sorry. I want to be here for you, but I don't have the bandwidth right now. Like, I really don't.
And that has been few and far between.
It's very few and far between. And I still feel like shit in those moments because I know I can't help you.
Yeah.
And I hate that. That's why you started therapy in the first place, because that was one of those instances.
Yeah, that was a time where I needed to be at that psychiatric ER, or that was a time that I needed to go sit in a waiting room and wait for my name to be called. It really was.
Anyway, sorry. I deviated from the point. Again.
And I don't even remember all of what I said, to be honest. I don't.
Basically everything you just said, and then there was other shit mixed in there. Honestly, the majority of it was me talking.
And me just sobbing. I was curled in a ball, and you were holding me, and you were stroking my hair, and it was great. Shitty circumstances. I don't want to wake up that way. All these bitches better take note. This is why I keep my mouth shut. This is why I keep my mouth shut. So I don't second guess who I am as a person. So I don't wake up crying. Because I told the truth on motherfuckers. And it makes me feel bad.
And that's why I've told you everything that I have recently. It's like, it's not going to work out the way you think it's going to.
I know.
Not that I don't want you to do it. Because I'm fucking...
Burn it down.
I'll burn the fucking bridge while I'm on it laughing. Because I'm just that fucking asshole sometimes. But I know that's not feasible in pretty much every situation now. Because of where you are as a person and what it's going to do to you later.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen many times.
Yeah.
Even whenever you were right and justified to do exactly that, I saw what it did to you after the fact.
The aftermath isn't really worth it.
It's not. It's really not. Because it destroys your peace in a big, bad way.
And I have fought for the past, going on, 4 years.
Longer than that.
I have fought longer than that. But
super active, making life-changing, life-altering choices to get away from it for the past 5 years or so.
And it's... You think it gets easier with realizing more about yourself and...
We're ogres. You know what I mean? Like, we're layered. That's not simple shit where you peel one off and then you're just like, okay, I'm good now. Like, no, there's another one. And then another one.
And then when you think you got to rock fucking bottom, that some bitch has a basement with a condo and another basement. Like...
It becomes fractal.
It does. Because... And a lot of people... And I saw a beautiful video... And I was telling you about it because I forgot to send it to you. And it was a woman, and it started off the same way, but she did the video a little bit different. She had the empty mason jar, and she says these are, ping pong balls, these are core beliefs, these are things, programming that you had, then the little sprinkles of other bullshit, and then smaller pieces of other things. And we've all seen something like it. Then she pours the water, and she, and then she was using it as an analogy of handling your own shit, your emotional journey, you actually realizing everything, working on everything, and why people stop. And she has the jar full of stuff, and she's pouring the water, and everything kind of, she was like, you see everything's floating to the top. All your trauma, all your shit is at the bottom. But once you start this talk therapy and you start if you choose to medicate or your own personal journey, whatever your journey is, she was like, all of that's going to come to the top. And she was like, you see it's sitting all right here at the top. And this is why even if people do start therapy, they quit. They stop their journey here because they're too scared of all of this.
Some people don't even get that far.
Yeah.
Because they feel it and they're like, nope, not dealing with this.
Yeah. And then she continues and she was like, okay, another this many percent stop here. This many percent stop here. If you're here, you only have 5% left.
But you don't know that.
Yeah. And the thing was to never stop. You can never stop. Once the bell has been rung, my outlook at it is, now that the bell's been rung, going back is a choice. I am choosing to hurt myself. I am choosing to disrespect myself, to be to be inauthentic and disingenuous to myself. So I cried. You sat with me, you laid with me.
I must say there wasn't no sitting. We were laying down the entire time.
We were laying down. Because you were just like, come lay down. I was like, okay. And even in this, it really, really makes me stop and look at my own mother.
Everybody that didn't take.
Yeah. Because, yeah, this is scary. And no one likes to,